Shivaya. I'm Karen from Creative Calm. Some days I don't really fancy getting up off all fours, and this is one of those sessions that we can use Marjas in cat position to get us into different places. So a low down class today, and hopefully this is just what you're looking for. So if you start to get any soreness through the wrists, you know you can always change hand position at any point. And in fact, I would encourage you changing the hand position, even taking hands wider, so we have options available to us. And if it gets too much but you really want to continue, we could come down to the forearms, or if you have some yoga blocks, I'm doing this without equipment just to make it a bit more accessible. But if you did have some yoga blocks, then you could use your yoga blocks and rest your forearms down. Obviously equal amounts to both sides. So let's start. So I'm just going to settle in by just being a little bit quiet. So closing your eyes if you're comfortable with eyes closed. And if you're not, just having a very soft gaze. And as we just take a few quiet moments together, I'm just sending my awareness down to what I can feel underneath me. So if you're sitting on something, just sensing and feeling whatever you're sitting on. You could be on a block or a cushion, or you could just simply be on the ground. And then just feeling that the weight is travelling down through the spine, through the back, out through the sit bones. Okay, so just a few moments of stillness and quietness, just to get us ready. And if you chant in your practice, we can do an internal chant of Om. You could do it out loud in your space. And I like to start my practices with Om Namah Shivaya. So we could place our hands on our heart center, the emotional heart at the center of the chest. And I'll say in Sanskrit and in English. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. With great respect and love, I honour my heart, my inner teacher. With great respect and love, I honour my heart, my inner teacher. With great respect and love, I honour my heart, my inner teacher. Namaste. Okay, so after a few moments quietly sitting, we're just going to come into child pose. So if child pose is comfortable, you can go straight ahead into your child pose, knees together or a little bit apart, and let the head either rest down on your mat, or you can make a stack of your hands and rest your head on there. And if it's not completely comfortable, maybe you could just put a pillow under your belly, or you could just sit up. So we're just going to take a few moments just to check in as to how we are. So you pick your child pose, or you can sit up. So just so you can hear me clearly, I'm going to be sitting up, but I'm still going to be doing the same checking in. Or in fact, if you like lying on your back, then that is an option too. And so we can be in reverse child pose. Just lie on the back. I'll come into reverse, and you can hear me clearly. And then hopefully everyone is settled into something. And you've been there for a few breaths now. Okay, so how are you feeling? How are you doing? How's your body? Let yourself know it's okay to work well, to work with kindness and compassion. Just allow yourself to move in places that feel good. And if something's a little bit tight, maybe we can play with the edge. But if something feels not right at all, then please listen to your instincts. Back off a little bit. We can come out all together. Okay, so from either reverse child pose, lying on your back, ahhh and knees to chest, or lying on your front. I'll be quiet for a moment so you can now, without being guided by me, just do your own checking in with how you're doing. How are you right now? And let the breath slow down. Okay, just a few moments. And the eyes are closed, open the eyes. So if you're down in child pose, just walk your hands back and sit up. If you're lying on your back, roll to the side, using your hands to bring it up to sit. Okay, so just before we come down to our hands and knees, if you need something, a blanket underneath your mat, you can, or you can just fold your mat in half. Let's just warm up into the wrists. So I'm going to push the palms out to the side. Fingers going to come towards me. Then I'm going to alternate. I'm going to pull one palm towards me and pull the fingers back. And then alternate this nice flexion extension, just pulling the palms towards me, pushing the fingers away. Opposite at the same time, because then that gives me a chance of moving freely into each side. And I can tell, okay, how this wrist is feeling, how this wrist is feeling. And we can also tip our head as well. So we're going to tip our head towards the fingers that are pointing up. And then we change, the fingers point up on the other side. So I'm just doing this simple, tilt the head from side to side. And the head is going in the direction of the fingers that are pointing up. Don't worry if you're doing it the other way around to me, that's absolutely fine. We're just going to do this a few more times. Nicely working into the wrists, shoulders and neck. Okay, bring the arms down. I'm just going to draw the shoulder blades together, so I'm just taking my awareness into the back for a moment. And then bringing the shoulder blades forwards. So I'm letting my hands just drop down by the sides and bring my shoulder blades together and bringing them forwards. So this is a rhomboid muscle between the shoulder blade and the spine, let's just say there, or a rhomboid push-up without it being a push-up, but just to get your awareness into the back, upper back. We're going to repeat this when we're on the ground. Now let's come into our marriage asana, into our cat position. So I'm going to have the hands underneath my shoulders, knees underneath my hips, roughly. And I'm just going to, padding, I don't know how to call this, just gently lifting and lowering one knee. And I'm just letting my hips just sway from side to side. A little bit like when you see maybe a cat or a dog just sort of settling down, just doing this padding from side to side. And this is just adding and taking some load off the wrists as well. So it's just giving the wrists a chance just to start to bear some load. Okay, and then just pause somewhere between the two. And then I'm going to move the hips all the way back. So the hips come towards the heels. And then I'm going to lift and move forward just in front of the wrist. So now I'm adding a little bit more load to the front of the wrist. My pelvis is dropping a little bit. And then push through the hands and let the hips move back. So I'm going to do this sort of forward and back a few times. So you might find that you start coming into a very gentle extension, into a very gentle baby back bend as we start to come forwards, because the pelvis might start to drop a little bit towards the ground. So if that feels nice, we can do that together. So just really tempering this to how far you want to go and how this is feeling in your body today. So all the while as I come forwards, I'm actually pressing my hands down so I can keep some space in the shoulders, rather than feeling as I come forwards I'm just hanging in my shoulders. So it gives me a little bit more of an energetic feeling in the shoulders. Let's just do 2 more. So I like this because it's just nice for the hips, knees, back, everything's getting a little bit of movement. And it's also a nice flexion extension of the spine and getting ready for movements in the spine. Okay, so let's come with ourselves just above our wrists. And that's going to be my first change of the hand movement. I'm going to turn my hands out so that my index finger is pointing out to the side and my thumb is pointing up. So I was saying about changing the hand positions. I quite like doing this, just so don't aggravate the wrist at all. Okay, so what I want to feel is a light lift through the low belly area, just to get some natural engagement through the belly. So how I'm going to get to this is by, I'm going to have my toes tucked under, just hovering the knees just a little bit off the mat. So it may look nothing, but I'm sure you can feel this. I'm pressing into my hands and I'm just noticing, where can I feel this? Maybe it's everywhere. And then gently lowering down. Can you feel that sort of low belly tuck, engagement, whatever your words might be. And then I'm going to do it with my feet flat. So I'm now going to be on the top of the feet and hover the knees again. And again, you know, listening. If your feet are screaming and they're just not having this, you can change to toes tucked under or vice versa. Feeling that low belly lift, low down. Again, there's lots of stuff going on here. We're just taking our way just to certain parts. We're going to that one more time. So I've got toes tucked under. I'm pushing into the hands, almost like lift up out of the shoulders. A little lift of the knees. So I'm old fashioned, so I do like 1 or 2 inches. Looks like maybe 5 or 6 centimetres. And then breathing, make sure you breathe, low down. And let's come on the top of the feet or not. And then lifting, holding, breathing, checking in. A few more breaths. And then down. Let's just come on to the forearms. Just turn the forearms up and then having the backs of the hands on the ground, and then just curl the fingers towards you, and then we're going to unfurl. So I'm going to bring the backs of the wrist, the backs of the palms, the fingers and thumbs down. So I'm going to curl the fingers in towards me, thumb in, curl them up towards me, and then unfurling them back down. Let's do that a few more times. So this curling up and then unfurling and then curling up and then unfurling. I'm hoping you could see that or understand that. So my fingers are curling towards my palms peel up. I just stretch that into the back of the wrists and then unfurling back down. Right, okay. Now come back onto the hands. Or not, if you wish not to. This time I'm going to take the hands wider than my mat with my fingers pointing out to the side. So I'm just going to tuck under just the tailbone a little bit, so tuck the bum under, and then just increment up to about the rib cage, and then reversing that action until the tailbone or the bum ends up lifting up. So I'm not coming into full Marajasana cat movement at the moment. I'm just isolating my lumbar, my low back, and I'm just really focusing on that area. So at the moment in my teaching, I'm just letting you discover how you breathe in these positions. when the belly contracts, what happens with your breath? Just notice. And then can you feel the spine movements one by one? Now you might want to now start to take this into a full spine movement. So let's continue that action as we come into a full Maujasana, a full cat-cow, tucking the head all the way in, and then lifting the tail. I feel all of the spine moving independently of each other if you can, until the tail is lifted, the head is lifted. And then let's reverse that, tuck it under the tail, and just really enjoying how this feels as it travels through your spine, head tucking in. So what I like to do is I like to sort of sense and feel it a few times before turning my awareness onto how I'm breathing. For me, that method works. So I like to do it and then noticing, oh yes, I can feel this, where I can feel it. And then notice, oh, this is how I'm breathing. And that means if you're new and somebody tells you to be in a certain way and it doesn't work, it means you can just discover either enjoying how it feels, we're still doing this a few more times, or working with the breath and movement. Mindful movement or synchronized breath and movement, and you can choose. Okay, nice. And then we're just going to find ourselves in between those two positions, and I want to feel that natural low belly engagement. I'm going to move my hands back. Okay, so it's like I'm just about to lift the knees up, but they're not lifting up. And in this position, I've got a nice curve in the spine, and hopefully you can just feel that your low abdominal wall is just contained without you having to pull your navel to your spine or do anything extraneous, anything else. Okay, so now we've got that position set up, we're just going to let the shoulder blades come towards each other like we're doing from sitting up, pushing through into the hands and let the shoulder blades come apart. So we're going to keep repeating this, shoulder blades coming together, the chest will drop, push into the hands, let the shoulder blades come apart. Now I'm trying to keep my arms straight, not trying, I am keeping my arms straight. And I'm just noticing, can I just let my head go down without my head dropping? So I'm keeping that natural curve into my neck. At the moment I spent quite a lot of time filming and on my computer and phone, because where I am right now we're in lockdown, so that might be a dim and distant memory when you do this. And my head has dropped a lot, so I'm just really enjoying having my neck in more neutral space, shoulder blades together, shoulder blades apart. Okay. So again, we're going to lean back, come up our wrists. This time we're going to push into the fingers, and that way we're just going to stretch out the wrist this way. You can drop your head, so I'm in a child pose. I'm using it just to sort of stretch out into the wrists. A few more breaths here. And I'm going to come back up. You can give them a bit of a shake out, so they need a little bit more, and that needs a shake out too. Okay, so let's go into lateral side movement. So again, feel free to move your hands into a different position. It's encouraged. In fact, I'm going to turn my hands in a little bit. So I'm going to keep my rib cage still. So again, isolating one part, and then I'm going to let my tail swish from side to side. So imagining that I've got a tail like a dog swishing from side to side. But at the moment, the rib cage is staying still. And if you're not quite sure, your chest will be directly above your mat and your head will be still too. So I'm just isolating the movement into the low back. And there's some nice work going on through the inner and outer thighs, hopefully. Now, let's take this now into a bigger range of motion. So I'm going to take my fingers forward. So again, I'm going to just keep changing my hand position. Now, when I swing my hips forward, I'm going to loop down to the same side. I can't see my hips, but imagining that I can. Swinging the other way and look back. So now it's a whole spine movement, whole spine involvement. Even my head is turning from side to side. I'm noticing how this feels compared to the other one. Same movement, but for a slightly different sensation. Let's do 2 more to each side. Okay, how does that feel? Now I'm going to take this into a turn or a twist. I'm going to start to turn to look one way, and as I can't turn anymore, I need to bend the opposite elbow. Elbow comes down, then I can turn. It's really nice in the upper back. And as I start to bring the elbow up, my head then starts to turn to look down to the ground, and I turn the other way, keep turning, and the elbow bends, and then bringing the elbow up as we start to look back down again. So just seeing this as being a turn that travels like a spiral or a corkscrew, not literally round and round, but that sort of spiraling direction from the top of the spine to the neck, around about to the bottom of the ribcage roughly, or that's where I feel it. So where do you feel it in your body? And how are you breathing as we're doing this nice turning? Let's just do 2 more together. You might get I get a click on my back. Be quiet for the last one. Okay. So now we're just going to pause and work on strengthening the wrist. I'm going to pull the thumbs up and pull the palms up, palms down. If it's too easy, bring your hands back towards you, palms up and palms down, palms up and palms down. Just a few times. Just so we just start to, again, working the wrists in a different direction than what they've been doing. And you might find that you can feel that low belly engagement, so it's a nice way just to do something else as well. And then we're just going to go on to our fists and just press the fists. And again, just looking at the wrist and just changing the angle of the wrist. Okay, so I'm going to choose to stay on my fists for the next one. So I'm going to bring one thigh in towards me, tuck the head in, and then lengthen the leg back. The leg is going to be straight and my toes pointing. So knee's going to come into chest, head is going to tuck in. As my leg goes back, I'm pointing the toe and lifting the leg. So I can really feel it in the back of the leg, the hamstring and in the buttocks. Okay, and then what I'm trying to do is maintain a level pelvis. I'm trying not to swing my hips too much. And if you're not sure if you can feel anything in your low back, that tends to be when you're letting your hips move. So can we just isolate this into a hip movement? I am pressing down into my fists just so I get some nice space in my shoulders. Let's bring that leg down, let's change sides. Ooh, that feels quite nice. I'm going to take my glasses down for a moment. Opposite side, so knee hooks into chest, head can tuck in. Leg lengthens back before coming up. So if you're really tight anywhere in the hip or knee or leg, you may end up bending the knee a little bit, and that's fine. But what we're trying to do is just send our awareness into the front and the back of the thigh. So now I'm going to be quiet just for the next 3, so you can get your own pace and you can listen into your body. Okay. We can just come rest in child pose for a moment. We can shake the wrists out for a moment. So now I'm going to take this into a balancing cat. So I'm going to turn my hands out. I'm aware that you'll be feeling possibly the same as me in the wrist. So now I'm ready to change my wrist position. So I'm going to take one arm out to, well, I'm going to do cactus arm actually. I'm going to do a cactus arm. I'm going to take it out to the side. I'm just going to hold that there for a few breaths. So this is really going to work into the shoulders. And I've noticed that low belly tuck or engagement or whatever works for you. And I'm not lifting my arm very high, as you can probably feel in your own bodies. But I'm just holding and breathing. I'm just getting some awareness into the shoulders and upper back on that side. Let's lower that arm down. Again, I've got cactus arm, taking it out. So it's like a bent elbow on my shoulder height, roughly. And this one is a held static position. And again, noticing, okay, what else is working? I can feel all around the shoulders. You might feel something else too. Taking a few more breaths. So once in a while I'll be quiet, and then when I'm quiet that gives you a chance to listen in without distraction from me. Now I'm going to come down onto my forearms, and then this time I'm going to take the hand behind me. I'm just going to hold the arm behind, so there's one arm, forearm on the ground, and the other arm up, and I'm just pulling that arm behind me, and I've got my palm to face up. I'm just noticing that's where my palm is. Taking a few breaths here again. Where can you feel this? Let's bring that arm down. Just same on the other side. So again, I'm going to take my arm slightly behind me, raise up behind my back, and start pressing down into the elbow on the ground, lifting up out of the shoulder, holding and breathing. So even though I'm not doing anything up to stand, I really still want to feel like I'm working into different body parts. Quiet for the last breath. And let's bring the elbow down. So now I'm just going to go back to swaying. So this time I'm going to just swishing the hips. We're going to sway the hips from side to side. Just to get some nice movement in the pelvis and the hips. And I like this because you get to the inner thigh and into the outer hips, and I don't tend to get there too often, so I like to use my yoga practice to get into those places. Okay. So pick a path you'd like to have your position of your hands. I'm going to go back onto knuckles. I'm going to push one heel behind me so the leg is bent, and I'm going to circle my knee in towards me and back out. Just the knee. Just feel it into the hip joint, into the hip socket, rather than letting my hips sway or tilt like we were doing before. Okay, let's go in the opposite direction. So for me, if, as you say, this is like oiling up the hip joints, and you might feel something different. That's my terminology. Oiling up the hip. Last one. Wow, bring that knee down. Opposite side, so I'm still pushing into the hands. Leg bent, knee comes up, and then circling the leg. I did about probably 3 or 4 in each direction. And again, just really being mindful of what I can feel in the hip joint. And then going the opposite direction. And again, can I isolate this movement? Can you isolate this movement even into your hip, rather than letting your pelvis, the back of your pelvis, move around? Fantastic. Let's bring the knee down. Okay. Let's just come back and sit on the heels, or you can sit another way and let's just give the wrists a really good shake out. into a bowing cat. So I'm going to take my hands a little bit further in front, my knees a little bit further back. And we're just going to bend the elbows towards us and straighten the elbows out. So I'm not going to go too far, I'm just bending the elbows in towards my rib cage, pushing through the hands and straightening up. So you could come all the way down, I'm not going to go all the way down, I'm doing into a little light bowing cat, down and up. And I'm imagining that my chest is going down around about the same time as my hips, rather than letting my hips drop and my elbows bend or my chest drop. So I'm just trying to keep a little bit of alignment here. So this way I've got this nice sort of pushing action. And you might find that you're breathing in a certain way as you go down, and you're breathing a certain way to push back up. Let's just do one more. I know this is quite strong. Okay, let's come back. Ooh, and maybe go a shoulder shrug, a shoulder shrug. And let's shoulder shrug the other direction. Ah, nice. Okay. So we're going to complete, oh that feels nice, so we might want to do some head, let's just move the head around a little bit. I'm just circling the head around a little bit, that was nice. Nice unexpected movement there. So I'm circling the head but I'm not dropping it back, it just feels nicer to circle around the front, or maybe just some half circles side to side. Okay, lovely. And maybe a bit of a wrist shake out. So not looking like we've done a lot, but in a short space of time really sort of worked quite a lot of the body. So let's just reverse that now and come to lying on our back. And then we're going to do our cat tuck and tilt from lying on our back. So I'm in setu bandha in bridge position. I don't mind whether the knees are wide than your hips, toes pointing out, so you might want to play with that a little bit. Your knees facing forwards, feet, just having a little bit of a cat tuck and tilt. And it's just, to be fair, I quite like doing this with my feet in different positions. Now let's go out a little bit wider with the feet, and when I take them wider, I do turn my toes out as well as my knees going out as well, so I'm not trying to force my body into places that it doesn't want to go into. And let's move the feet a bit closer. And a bit closer. Okay. Ah, lovely. Let's bring the hands, rest the backs of the hands down. We're just going to let the knees just gently go from side to side. We can let the head go from side to side, just slowing the movement down, just taking all the weight off the wrists, all the weight off the hips. A short and sweet session, it's good for building up some strength, some nice spinal movements. Hopefully we're increasing some of your range of motion. Okay, so you could end the practice and the knees rest against each other, eyes closed, taking a few breaths, letting everything quieten down. So you could stay here for as little or as long as you want. I'm just going to talk to you just for a few more moments. So just lightly, very lightly, just taking your awareness from your head down through The neck and shoulders, how are they feeling? Down to the arms and wrists and hands, how are they feeling? And then travelling down the chest, all the way down the front of the body, down to the groins. How's the chest and belly feeling? And then from the upper back and shoulders to the mid back and low back, how's all that area feeling? And then to the hips and knees and ankles. How is all that feeling, all that area? And how are you now? Maybe a sigh now as we just let a little bit more of ourselves go. Taking a few more moments in rest together. Maybe letting the breath slow down. So if this is enough rest, feel free to bring the knees into the chest and roll to the side, or feel free just to stay here as long as you wish, as long as you've got today. But thank you so much for practicing with me today, and I really hope you've enjoyed your practice.